Hope you're both well. Hi, Jack, Daniel. I think it's probably an internet thing. It's probably an internet thing. Oh, the sound is on my screen. Paul? That's possible. I think I would imagine that the usage of YouTube must be, since the beginning of the pandemic, must be skyrocketing. And from the beginning of the pandemic, first lockdowns, you can notice the difference in performance, inconsistencies in, stuff that was coming up, messages that were coming onto your, messages people left on your videos didn't turn up till God knows when. It's took long. I've noticed a significant difference. It's but there's definitely been a dip in performance. Oh, you've changed the quality settings on your channel? You mean they've changed quality settings on our channels themselves? Everybody having that same problem? Has everybody got poor video quality? Yeah, it's just different locales will have different quality internet, I guess. There's no accounting for Canadian infrastructure, is there? Let's be honest. As you would put it, Daniel, lol, just kidding. Let me just check the Wi-Fi settings. With Beaver Pelts, yeah. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is on. I don't know. I saw that a comment on somebody else's video. Who was that? I think that was a Cliff Higgin comment somewhere on somebody's video. I don't remember whose. Yours is on. Hi James, how you doing? Still a bit early. We'll get to the desk in a minute, as soon as possible. Let me just get the doodling done. Hope you don't mind. Well, I didn't actually change anything, Daniel, so it's just a matter of maybe it takes a bit of time till it kicks in. I don't know. Till it catches up on itself, maybe it builds up a bit of a buffer. Oh, Jack, did the stuff arrive today? I sent you the chuck jaws. Did they arrive? Oh, awesome. Good. We might finally see get you to do some work instead of drinking all that scotch. Did they mount onto your truck okay? Oh, cool. Excellent, Jack. I'm happy. Well, good luck with your first turning. Hope it goes well. Hopefully we'll see yet another British pipe maker on the scene soon enough. Definitely seems to be a bit of a resurrection of English, or British I should say. Sorry, Jack. British pipe makers. Oh dear me. Having a bit of a brain issue. I used the torch a minute ago. I don't know what I've done with it. Well, never mind. Most pipe makers won't make pipes live. In fact, 99.99% recurring don't. I'm pretty much the only one that does it to this extent. You'll get some people doing a few minutes here, a few minutes there, but and maybe many pipe makers out there are not happy the fact that I'm showing everybody how to make a pipe, but well, the way I make one anyway. I have no idea. But you guys all know my journey and how it all started as being part of the YTPC, not as making a living from it, although it's changed into something different. No, people don't really see it that way, I don't think. Something like that. Hey, Jeff. This is where I'm up to so far. And hopefully it will be an interesting finish. So it's a sort of a continuation of the previous pipe, I guess. It's building on what I learned from making Jeff's pipe. Intense is one way of describing it, I guess, yes. Oh, I've just remembered something. I was thinking of doing some rings on here as well to kind of, sort of to blend in to match the rings on here, but actually it might be a bit too much, I think. I could reload it because it's still square on the sides. I could put it back on the lathe. I'm not even sure if I should. I think it might be a bit too heavy if I put rings on there as well. Maybe one ring would be nice. Currently smoking my Jason Mouton Lovat, and in it I've got some Orlik Golden Sliced and vanilla cream roll cakes. So I still have the pipe I made for myself with a hexagon stem design. I'm not sure which one you mean. I made this tamper on Friday, and that's to go with a pipe which has a tortoiseshell stem, and I've curved, if you can see it, curved the inside of the tip there, which makes for a better tamper generally. And it's got a nice hefty handle, nice markings. Pipe had a carbon make for you with a funny swirl type carved stem. So you're talking about the helix style pipe, which is probably what you're talking about, the Northern Briars one. But I made one like that for myself. I did make one, but I sold it. I didn't keep one. Didn't make it for myself. No, that one I sold straight away. I didn't make that for myself. Let me have a look on my website. It'll be on the gallery. I'm sure if I know which one you're talking about. $386. talking about that one there. Yeah, that one I sold. Pipe 380, which I sent off months ago and went missing, has arrived, thankfully. That was the first one of the carved pipes that I did. It's really interesting to look back at the gallery. Basically, as soon as I sell a pipe, it shows as sold on my new pipes page, stays in there for a bit, and then I move it over to the gallery. Just looking at some of the pipes that I've made in the past, sometimes I just don't look. I look at them and I think, I didn't make those, did I? It's kind of it's interesting. It's just like you separate yourself a little bit from it. But just looking through them, you know, as nicely as you carve the pipe, at the end of the day, the finish is what really sells the pipe, I think. Whether it's the staining, whether it's the grain, whether it's the textured finish, the carved finish, whatever it might be, if it works well on the pipe, if it creates a balanced look to the pipe, I think that's what sells. That one is gone, and it wasn't faux stones, those were real rubies. There's 2 real rubies put in the stem. And somebody who's actually on here right now has that pipe. If he wants to say who it is, he can. Meeks, how you doing? I haven't seen you in ages. First time homeowner, cool. Good for you, congratulations. There you go, Daniel. Paul the Piper has that pipe. Oh, I wanted to show you something. Give me half a tick. I bought a bunch of Stanwell pipes for reconditioning and selling at some point, and I bought a batch of 7 pipes, and I got this huge big box, came in the post, and I didn't understand why it was such a big box, and then I realized why. The guy sent it in this Svenborg presentation box, which is very, very cool. I've never had one of these type boxes. So you open it up, some nice artwork there, Danish pipes, handmade, but these are all Stanwells. And you've got these indentations, 2, 4, 6, it'll take 12 pipes. So these are all pipes of the year from Stanwell, and these are all dress pipes. So they're all black. Nice bit of silver on there. This is a pipe of the year from 1997. They all need a little bit of work, sort of to varying degrees. Some are in pretty good condition, some need a bit of work. This one is 1995. I've had some of these shapes before, either sandblasted, rusticated or smooths. So I'm quite familiar with some of these shapes now. I've had a lot of Stanwells go through my hands over the past couple of years. I think they're all 9mm, yeah. This one is 1998. I've got a sandblasted version of that as well. This is another Millennium one. I had a Sandblasted Millennium one, year 2000. This one is smoked though. Jason got I did the trade with Jason, so he gave me this pipe, and I gave him the Stanwell 2000 unsmoked pipe, unsmoked year pipe. But lovely bit of silver work on there. And I've got another one of these in a rusticated finish. This is 1999, I think, 1998. Interesting silver work. This sort of knot on the end of it. They're all in really good condition, besides for just needing a little bit of attention. But in terms of structurally, they're all in good condition. This one I don't think I've had before. 1996. This one's got a hexagon shank. Nice period. It would actually be quite neat to get a bunch of years, consecutive years, and sell them as a box set. That would be pretty awesome. They look amazing when you line them up like that, don't they? You know, some of the pipes are heavy. You know, when you get a pipe like this, it's going to be a heavier pipe anyway. It's a sizable pipe. Thick walls like that, that's going to be a fairly weighty pipe. But, you know, especially with bent pipes, people don't seem to be too bothered by that. It's actually not as heavy as it might look, but it's not a lightweight. It's not 40 grams, no. And I've had one of these as well before. That's the one with got a built-in stand. Like that. And this is Christmas 2000. Okay, it's an Xmas pipe. It's not a year pipe, but it's from the year 2000, which is neat. I'm always curious to see what's underneath these dress pipes. According to Mike, he said in order to make a dress pipe, the pipe has to be absolutely pristine. Otherwise it shows up when you paint it. But I guess depending on how well they fill the pipe. So I don't know, I'm a bit scared to take any of these down to the briar. So all I'll be trying to do is enhance them. And in the case where the rims are too badly scorched, I might take it down a bit and give it a contrasty stain. So you'll have a nice rich wood kind of colour there, and black. Just for fun. Well, I'm not going to ruin a pipe just for fun, but maybe one of the pipes I'll try and see. At the end of the day, worst comes to worst, I can restain it black, but generally speaking, when I restore a pipe, I mean, I wouldn't even call these restoring. They're kind of just, they need a bit of attention. They're not a restoration. I'm going to try to keep them as original as possible. That's the whole point. People want these pipes because they're Stanwell year pipes, and they're commemorative pipes. If I completely change it, I'm kind of changing the original design of the pipe. Where it needs it, fine. But these ones, you know, the most attention that they need is a little bit of reaming. You know, a lot of them still have tobacco in them, and well, ash anyway. They just need cleaning out, a thorough alcohol clean, polishing up, and hopefully a bit of a buff on the rims will get rid of the charring. Some of them might need a bit of top and tailing. Some people do make painted white briar pipes. I think Chris Asquith does one with a moonscape finish on his, which is pretty awesome. The way he does that, it's very artistic and very clever what he does. And those ones are, I think, white, and they actually look like meerschaums. That is a cool box, yeah. That would be a nice box to, if I ever went to a show to sell pipes, just to sort of display pipes in that. I should really ask GQ Tobaccos where he gets his from. I assume he gets his from, I mean, he buys, he sells Savinelli's, Stanwell's, whatever, so I guess they send them to him. I don't know if they'll go on the website. They may eventually, but I'll probably do a sale video. I've got 4 or 5 others, which are not dress pipes, but just, in fact, I think I have them here. So there's a 1994 sandblasted one. Nice oval shank. There's the other one with that nut, but with a rusticated finish and a smooth bowl. I've already tidied this one up. And the year, what did I say it was? 1999. That's one of mine that I just did a carve blast on. This is a non-filtered pipe, in case if anyone's interested. Nice lightweight pipe. This is a Paul Stanwell collection pipe. Beautiful pipe, absolutely gorgeous pipe. What price? It's on my website, so you can buy it straight off the website. If you want it, I could maybe do you a deal as it's you, Daniel. I think it's on the website for £160, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure why I brought these out. Maybe to repolish it, because the silver's already tarnished a bit. There are several more. I think they must be upstairs somewhere. Oh, there was a box here. Oh, here they are. No, these are the Vaughn ones. There's a bunch of Vaughn ones which I haven't worked on yet. Yeah, they must be upstairs. At the moment, there's 2 non-9 mils LCS pipes on my website. And I'm flummoxed as to why they haven't sold. They're both great pipes, in my opinion. But I guess non-9 millers don't come to my website because they expect them all to be 9 mil, maybe. The Vaughan square shank is in there, yeah. You want to see it? Again? First one out of the box. It's not Shabbat night anymore. It's Sunday. That's a Vaughn pipe. This is my regular slot, Idan. I don't know if you've seen me before on Saturday night, but I've been doing Saturday night London calling for about 3 years already, every Saturday night. So it's not usually a pipe making slot, but sometimes it is. Could be, Josh, could be. All in good time. Yeah, it's true, Idan. You're right. But I started doing lives. I was probably one of the first to started doing lives, regular lives, a regular slot on the YTPC. I think I was the first, actually. Not bragging or anything, but I think I was the first. Matches started afterwards. I think Matches was the second. And I started them way before I started making pipes. So, well, not way before, but before I started making pipes anyway. No, it's not the Escorti Square Shank, James. That one's up on my desk, where I use it for when I smoke it. No, I wouldn't go up live during the day. You're quite right. James, I've got your cigars with me tonight. I was speaking to a good buddy today who smokes a lot of cigars. Smokes a pipe as well occasionally. And he's American, and he's never heard of this brand, the Atabey. But I'm excited to try them. My problem is that I've got a growing stack of there were a couple of lives. Yeah, could be. I must have seen somebody do it in order to give me the impetus to do it. So I'm not saying that I did say it, but I'll take it back. Maybe I wasn't the very first, but I think I was probably the first regular weekly slot live. Probably. But anyway, who cares? No difference. Daniel, you want me to do £90 instead of £160? Are you serious? I mean, I'd happily give you a discount, but that's just not a reasonable offer, to be honest. This is Atabey. And the only reason why I was sort of really curious to smoke one was because I'd seen the guy on Zeal Cigars. I forget his name now. And he went mad about these. So I always had the inkling to smoke them. Oh, a different pipe. Hang on. 324. Sorry, Daniel. I misread what you said. Apologies. $324. The Bulldog 90 plus shipping. Well, Edan's actually been looking at that, but yes, I will take 90 plus shipping, Daniel, for you. But when it's paid for, it's yours. No worries, Edan. Another time, another day, no problem. Yeah, Daniel, be in touch with me by email. I don't want to do this on here, but yeah, if you want it, it's yours at 90 plus. No problem, Daniel. Thank you very much. But let me know as soon as you do send it so I can show it as sold. That one is a filtered pipe. Just be aware of that. Do you want to share how much that is, Edan? I'm curious. Let me guess. $450. Yes, Josh. It has grown into an animal. A beast. The beast. The beast. You devil, you. Pressure? You? God forbid. $395 a steel. Have you got a diagram of it? Oh, I see. From America to you. Fair enough. Wow, he's probably sending it insured. and I've taken to doing the same nowadays, unless somebody specifies that they want it done anonymously, let's say. It's not expensive maybe for one of his pipes, but it's a lot of money. I understand what you're saying there. Oh, you mean the shipping, right? But nowadays, I just can't take the risk when I'm sending, say, a $200 pipe out to anywhere in the world. Yeah, one of his pipes, it is worth it. I would say so. No, he's not buying it, Daniel. He's got his money invested in a custom pipe from Joe Skoda, and he's lucky to have that. What was I saying? Yeah, so nowadays, unless somebody requests it, I send it and declare it at full value so it can be insured. Just the way shipping is at the moment, it's just too risky. And you want to at least know that you can get your money back if it gets lost. It's a lot of money. Unless somebody requests that I send it as a toy train carriage, which is what I do send it to if somebody does request it, but it's at their risk. So if something goes wrong, it's at their risk. I just can't take that risk. And to be honest, pipes going to America at full value, not really a problem. The Americans don't seem to be worried about stuff coming into their country. In England here, anything over £25 gets nabbed, and you pay tax and you pay handling, admin, anything else they can slap on it, they'll slap on it. No, he could still declare the value and insure it, but he could still say it's a $400 pipe, but he can say he's giving it to you as a gift, so it'll still be insured for $400. But you officially you don't pay tax on a gift. But whether they accept that or not is another matter. I don't think you'll have that problem in Israel, to be honest. Israel also doesn't really. The bigger problem that you'll have is somebody nicking it, to be honest. February 2018. Could be. I didn't always leave my lives up, but there you go. If yours was in March, so you're one of the founding fathers. We're brothers. We always have been. I just had that, Idan. I sent a pipe, a £200 pipe, to Eilat, and it went missing. The guy who it was sent to a dive center in Eilat, and the guy, basically what happened was the guy that I sold the pipe to, it was the second pipe I'd sent him. The first time he'd given me a different address, and I sent it, no problem. The second time he didn't give me a different address, and I sent it to the address which was listed on the PayPal payment. That's what you got to do. You got to cover yourself. And I'd probably forgotten that he'd given me a previous address. And anyway, it was an address that he had contact with and he was able to access. But when he went to collect it, they said no package. And basically, somebody, it was a dive center, so it wasn't a house, it was a business. So presumably, one of the people who worked there decided that they're going to put it aside for themselves. But I guess he didn't use it or do anything with it, waiting to see if somebody came to claim it. He probably thought, why would anybody send a pipe to a dive center? Anyway, in the end, the guy said to him, I think there was CCTV in the post office. It was in the post office. And he basically, he went there and, long story short, he got his pipe. So that's what I'm saying is that might be your bigger problem. But if it's a private house, yeah. As long as your postman doesn't fancy a smoke. But there's a very small pipe smoking community in Israel, so you probably have nothing to worry about. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. I mean, I have sent packages. I sent a package out on Friday to Israel, to Izzy actually. $141 of shipping. That's crazy. That's madness. It's not a pipe related package. It's just something he asked me to get for him, which he couldn't get there. That's crazy. You should challenge that. $141 is just ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense for a tiny little package, unless he's sending it by express courier or something like that. That's mad. Well, why don't you ask him? That's making that a $600 pipe. Whoops. Yeah, he might have just gone online and taken what he saw. I had that sometimes when I buy pipes from Europe. I'll get a quote for. I had a quote recently for a pipe from one of the European countries, and the guy wanted €30 to ship it, and I usually pay around between 15 and €20. So I said to him that it's really expensive. He said, yeah, he realizes that. Bear in mind that I'm buying a pipe. I don't remember which pipe it was, but it's probably 40, 50, €60, something like that. So it's a fair percentage of the value of the pipe. And I said to him that on average I pay between 15 and €20. So he said he'd have a look into it, and he did. And in the end, I think I paid €10. So I was really happy about that. It's worth asking. Hey Jeffrey, how you doing? One of the guys, Chad, who smokes like that is Rich Esserman. He's a famous guy, and well, famous, but he's a guy I read up his stuff on the Pipe Collector magazine, and he's one of these guys. He's got quite a high end collection of pipes, and he's one of those guys that has to smoke the pipe as soon as he gets it. You could still ask. I'm sure he's a stand up guy. Hmm. I mean, that's the impression that I get about him from what I've seen of him in articles and stuff like that. I'm actually the opposite when it comes to breaking in a pipe. If it's a pipe that, if it's an estate pipe, and I've bought it for myself, I'll usually smoke it. I'll clean it and smoke it. But if it's a new pipe that I've bought for myself, with the intention of smoking myself, oftentimes it will stay in my drawer for months, even years, before I actually get to smoke it. I don't know why. Some pipes are like that, and some pipes I'll smoke straight away. This pipe, I think I loaded it the day I got it, because I knew it was a pipe that I wanted to smoke. I've got Mike's pipe of the year 2019, the Shape 55. It took me a while, but I smoked that one. I've got the 2020 pipe, the Author Shape. I haven't smoked that yet. I don't know why. It's actually quite an, although it looks quite big, it's quite light. You've got a few that you haven't smoked, Chad? I didn't get the 25th anniversary pipe. No, I'm sad that I didn't, but I couldn't. It was too much money for me. Have you put match to my one yet, Chad? The latest one I sent you? I've got the 50th anniversary Pipe Club of London pipe by Sir Jacopo. No, it's Mastro de Paya. I haven't smoked that yet. I've got another Mastro de Paya beautiful pipe which I haven't smoked either, which I bought when he came to visit the Pipe Club. I've got a Skovgard pipe which I haven't smoked yet. But in terms of S-Bank pipes, Daniel, I've nearly pulled the trigger several times on S-Bank pipes. I really like the look of S-Banks, the way they're made. A lot of my pipes kind of, have that kind of inspiration. I'm not saying that my pipes are like S-Bank, but inspiration-wise. And I nearly put one on layaway with smoking pipes, but I didn't do it in the end. They're a lot of money. To get any half decent one in good condition, you got to be prepared to spend anything from $600-700 to $1,000, and then some if you want to. You can spend more, but to get one in good condition, you've got to be prepared to spend somewhere between $600 and $1,000. That's a lot of money. But that's when you're going into that kind of range of pipe, you're going into lifestyle. You're not going to get a scale of economy when it comes to the reward in terms of the quality of the smoke. You'll get hopefully a good smoke, a great smoke possibly, but you don't need to spend that kind. That's more lifestyle. That's more wanting to collect that particular pipe. I think it's a discussion you can have ad nauseum until the cows come home. Some people will say that you can buy a corn cob and have the ultimate, best ever utopian smoke you've ever had in your life. And some people will say, well, you need to spend a couple of £100 at least, or $300-400 to get a top end smoke. I'm in the camp of you could get a fantastic smoke from a basket pipe, and I think that if you're building a collection, you have a better chance of a good smoke out of a pipe, which is, well, let me put a caveat in there. If you're going to go to a shop and choose your pipe, then I would say there's no difference. Because if you know what you're looking for, and you look at the quality of the pipe, the internals of the pipe, then I would say there's no difference. If you pick a good pipe, you pick a good pipe. It could be £20, it could be £1,000. But if you're buying off the internet, or you're buying an estate pipe off the internet, eBay, or whatever it might be, then there's a fair chance, if you buy a pipe, say for £200, from an artisan carver who's reputed to make good pipes, then you've probably got a better chance with that than buying a bunch of £30-40 pipes which you haven't got sight of, and you don't know what they're going to turn out to be. But I've got some cheap estate pipes which are fantastic smokers. But I think the way to look at it is like this: you could buy, say, 10 estate pipes off eBay, say, pay between $40 and $60 for each of them, let's say, and if half of them work out to be good smokers, you've done fantastic. And I still do that. I did that for a long time, and I still do that. You still have the advantage of it being broken in. You have the advantage of it being older wood. There's lots of advantages to that, but you can get a few stinkers. You can get some which have got Lakeland in them for a start, and you can get some which are really badly made, terrible drilling. So you don't really know. I mean, you could buy off a website a Peterson or a Savinelli or a Castello, any of these, where I'm not sure if I could say that about Castello. I've seen some, but not a huge amount of them. And you don't know how the drilling is going to be, because it seems, I don't know why, but factory pipes, and for this purpose I'll call Castello a factory pipe, even though it's not necessarily. I'm sure Mike would correct me on that. But especially if they're bent pipes, it's not a coincidence that the high-end pipe makers do not make, very few of them make full bent pipes. They're impossible to drill. And forget 9mm, I'm talking about even non-9mm. 9mm is even harder. The full bent pipe, I don't do many full bent pipes for that reason, because there's no point in, like the one I made the other day where I had a problem with the drilling, but that was due to a mistake. But full bent pipes, especially 9mm, is very, very hard to do, to get it right, unless you're going to make a really big sort of shank junction, which gives you room to mess around with the draft hole. But you don't see that many high-end pipe makers making full bent pipes, like Hungarian style or Umpols, that kind of thing. Most of them will be this kind of angle, like that, maybe a little bit steeper. DM, what do I think of Dunhill pipes? In terms of how they smoke, from what perspective? In terms of the cost, quality, value, what? Well, this one here. That was one of my shop pipes, which I saved, which had a hole in it. But it's a perfectly good pipe. Full bents are very comfortable, but they don't smoke well. They are comfortable, and if they're good, they can smoke well. But it's harder to get a good full bent pipe. I wouldn't say this one's full bent, but it's got a fairly good bend on it. It actually smokes very well. If I could find my flipping torch, I could look at the hole. Such a moron. Simon is a moron. Probably right in front of my eyes. I found it. It wasn't in front of my eyes, but I found it. Laila Tov Idan. Shavua Tov. Actually, this one is drilled pretty well. Right at the bottom of the hole. That came out well. Let's see what it looks like at this end. Spot on, actually. So that's a good drill, and it's a good smoker. But it's harder. It's definitely more challenging to do a full bent drill. But there is a whole conceptual difference between do I feel they're worth the price in regards to smokability, more like smokability. I think that when you get to, especially their collectible pipes, the book ones, you're paying for, again, it's a lifestyle thing, you're paying for the collectability of the pipe. I would say over £300. Beyond that, you're paying for the collectability of the pipe, if it's a sandblasted pipe. If you're getting a silver tamper and you're getting a beautiful book, you're paying for other things than things other than the pipe. Those silver tampers are beautiful, but you're paying for that. You're probably paying £300-400 just for that tamper. And then you've got the book and all of that. That costs money for them to produce, so you're paying for that. But they smoke well. I've had a fair few Dunhills go past through my hands. I still have one. And they've all smoked well. I don't think I've had a bad Dunhill smoker. So percentage-wise, I would say that based on my relatively constrained experience, I would say that the smokability of them is really good. But are they worth £1,000? You know, you pay for the smooths, you pay quite a lot of money. But I don't know. When I tried to save the pipe that I was making, I don't know. I had another look at it on Friday. It's here somewhere. I haven't chucked it in the bin yet. If that means anything, I don't know. So I started marking the base to show where it was thin, and I should avoid sanding that. But in actual fact, this area here, which is where I've had to adjust the drill to get to the bottom of the bowl, if you remember, I've come so close here that it's just, I don't know if it's savable. If you have a look, you can see how close it is. You see that? That shows you it's wafer thin. And like I said, if I took a needle file, I'm sure I could just quite easily punch a hole through it. But that is just too thin to do anything with. And the only thing I can do with this is to put another piece of briar underneath it. But that's going to mean I don't really want to pierce that. So what I would like to do is to be able to sand it, and then so that it's a smooth surface, so that I can bring another piece of briar to it, or mortar or something to it, to protect it. But if I sand it at all, I'm pretty sure that it will go right through. Anyway, maybe it's better that I do that. I don't know. But that's probably, if I do decide to save it just for the sake of saving it, it would simply be just for that reason and nothing else. I have to check the grain and see if that's worth. Maybe it's worth saving for that reason. It's got some nice grain. It's not exceptional. It's got nice bird's eye on the base. It's got nice grain going up the side there. But on the other side, it's not as good. It's not. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but maybe one day as a little project. The bird's eye here is not going to help me because I'm going to be covering that up. But what I might be able to do is get another piece of briar which has got beautiful grain on it and put that on the base maybe. But it's a shame because the bowl shaping is actually really nice. I mean, it's still rough shape, but it's just a nice sort of tomato kind of shape. It's got nice shaping here. Yeah, inverted, there's always different things which contribute to a good smoke. Obviously, tobacco is one of those parts of the equation, but the pipe shape, I've never noticed a difference between whether full bent or half bent in terms of the quality of the smoke, depending on the tobacco. I've never seen that myself. What you do have sometimes with full bents is that you get it's if the pipe is not drilled right, then it's sometimes prone to gurgle. Yeah, what I did with this was I mixed up some Orlik golden sliced, put one coin, and I rubbed it out and mixed it in with the Orlik golden sliced. And then when that was finished, I put a single coin of vanilla cream on top of that, slightly teased apart, and put that on top. It's a nice smoke. Pipe smokes very well. Still needs breaking in. It's still got a bit of a fresh taste, a woody taste, which I'm not very partial to, but we'll get there. You got to go past that stage to get the good stuff. Oh yeah, so I was in the middle of saying that there's a conceptual difference between a factory pipe and an artisan pipe. I don't know if you saw the video of Dale Piper, John, opening up the pipe that he bought from me. He did a video today. And Dale had said that this was, without exaggeration, the best first smoke of a new pipe that he'd ever had. And somebody put a comment in there saying, Dale, you're too old to make silly comments like that. How could you possibly say, after the first few puffs, that this is your best ever pipe? And why would you spend your money on a guy in a garage when you could buy it from somewhere like Radice or Castello for the same money? No. So I answered him two things. Number one, you didn't listen to the video properly, because he never said that it was his best pipe. He said it was his best first smoke of a new pipe. That's a very different thing. And the second point was that there's a conceptual difference between an artisan pipe and a factory pipe. There's a whole load of reasons why there's a whole load of differences between an artisan pipe and a factory pipe. On the YTPC, there's a whole load of differences between this personal relationship that you have with the carver, possibly. But for me, setting aside the YTPC, but generally the conceptual difference between an artisan pipe and a factory pipe is that the artisan pipe maker will have a reputation. So exactly the thing that we've been discussing, say for argument's sake, bent pipes. You buy a Peterson, Castello, Savinelli, or whatever, you buy a full bent pipe, that thing's not necessarily going to be drilled correctly. In fact, the vast majority of factory pipes, full bent pipes that I've had, have all been badly drilled. Doesn't make it a bad smoker. Some of them are my best smokers. I've got a Bentley pipe, which is one of my favorite straight Virginia smokers. It's not drilled right. It comes out high in the bowl, and it's high in the mortise, but it smokes fantastic. So, but the difference is that if an artisan pipe maker has a reputation for good quality pipes, and he's not going to put out pipes which are bad, like this one here, then you know that you've got a much better percentage chance of getting a well-made pipe. So buying from an artisan pipe, besides for the personal aspect of it, you're actually doing yourself a favor, giving yourself a higher chance of getting a good quality pipe. The garage, I don't know. I put a comment on there, which I then deleted because it was just silly. I mean, I started off by saying that usually I wouldn't have made a comment because it seems a bit conceited for me since I made the pipe to start talking about it. But I actually felt that he was misrepresenting what John had said in the video. That's why I corrected him. But the reality is that most people who say disparaging comments on YouTube, not always, but generally, it's a reflection of their own issues. And disparaging other people is not going to make your life better. That's what people need to learn. And that's, I might have said something along those lines. I can't remember if I actually left the comment in or not. But that's it. And another thing which I noticed as well, and I checked it on his channel, this guy, the vast majority of those people who like to dump on you when you're doing something, the vast majority have zero content on their channels, and these are just what you call keyboard warriors, and they think they're clever, they think they're brave when they're anonymous, and that's it. They haven't got the balls, excuse my French, but they haven't got the balls to have their own content and to stand by their content. And so all they do is they hide behind their keyboard and they get their jollies from ripping somebody down, and that's it. These things don't bother me. They've never bothered me. What I was upset about was that he was misrepresenting John, and that's why I made that comment. You know very well, I've got my regular detractors on my channel, my thumbs downers. These things don't bother me, and I say this every so often. It's simply people letting out their own inadequacies, and it's a reflection on their own sad existences. I feel bad for them in a way because they have no other way of dealing with their own um, lack of success, or their own perceived success anyway, what they would like to have been successful in. You can give constructive criticism. I'm all for that. I have no problem with that. I put the video of Jeff's recent the pipes that I made for Jeff. If you have a look at it, you've got the grooves that I carved on the shank. The inside of the grooves are not polished, and I knew that when I made the pipe. It's the first pipe I've made like that, and I made it with a tool which makes it very hard for me to polish the inside of that groove, and I've learnt from that. So the next one, I use a different tool, and hopefully that will come out all polished. And I said to him exactly that. That's what I've just said to you. I responded in the comment to him. I have no problem with constructive criticism, but when people criticize or try to offend or try to just bring you down, maybe they're jealous of your success or whatever it might be, I have no time for that. I don't even let it bother me. I don't take it to heart. I don't, for every one detractor, there's thankfully hundreds, hopefully, who are the opposite. And I've got a pretty healthy subscription count. So, and like I've always said, my content is made just how it makes sense to me. If somebody likes it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I'm not trying to pander to anybody in particular. Absolutely, Jeff. It's a lovely pipe. If it wasn't, I wouldn't send it out. It'll be a lovely pipe, and that I'll still try and polish it if I can, but I don't want to risk ruining the pipe. In a way, the top edge, the outer edges are really nicely polished, and it kind of contrasts a little bit. I don't think it looks bad. It's really absolutely fine. Daniel, in terms of sanding the inside of a bowl, I never used to. I have started doing it a bit, but I never used to in principle. I always believed that a rough surface inside the bowl is a better surface for creating a cake in your pipe. And to be honest with you, after the first time you smoke that pipe, you're not going to notice a difference anyway. It's a completely irrelevant issue, in my opinion. Well, Jeff, this one is on the bench. It's not been booked by anybody so far. So depending on how it comes out. So this one is just an extension, taking that concept a little bit further, and hopefully that will look awesome. This is a blue-black ebonite. It's going to be a bigger stem. It's a much longer stem, this one, but it's also got a hidden connection, if you like. Same idea. Spot on drilling, dead center. Yeah, I would agree with you, Daniel, that it would give you a better finish to look at before you smoke it. But once you smoked it, it's irrelevant. But I have started doing that. I don't do it to very smooth finish. I do it on a higher grit just to give it that sort of finished look. So yes, I would agree with you in principle, Daniel. No worries, Jeff. What's the time? 1:10. I could carry this on now, actually. Should we carry on chatting or make the pipe? You can talk as much as you want, Daniel. This pipe's almost done. You can talk as much as you want. Makes my life easier. I've long started to think that my London calling sessions are getting a little bit too they're lacking a little bit in content. The idea is just to have a chat, but I find that I've come to a point now where it's easier for me to just simply make a pipe, and I'm conscious of it being a bit boring for people out there. It used to be a lot more energetic conversation, but which pipe are you talking about, DM? Steph, how you doing? Mortar. I have made mortar pipes before, but I don't really make them anymore. I'd rather use them for adornments, things like that. But they tend to be a little bit volatile, and you don't know if you're going to get one which is going to burn out in no time, or if it's going to be really good. What tends to happen is that the ones which are okay, they tend to be heavier, so they tend to be quite a heavy pipe, and the ones which burn out are really very, very lightweight, and there's just not enough density there. And it's just a little bit volatile, I find, a bit inconsistent and unpredictable. A Dunhill 5222. Let's have a look. Is that like a stand-up poker pipe, the 5222? Yeah. Yeah, I have actually done a shape like that before. Yeah, I could do that. If you want, whenever you're interested, just get in touch with me. You can email me. The only thing I will say is that I don't do sandblasting. I do my own version, which is a carve blast, which is not a sandblast, which looks like, I just showed that a little bit earlier on. So that's what my carve blast looks like. So it's in actual fact a carving, but it's carved to look like a sandblast, a nice ring grain. So I don't do actual sandblasting, but if that appeals to you, then I could certainly do that. All right, Steph, have a good one. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, yeah, no pressure. Whenever you want, DM, whenever you want. If you want, when you want, no problem. I haven't done the razor finish for a long time. I've got nothing against it. It's just that it's evolved into the carve blast. So the carve blast is just something which looks more like a sand blast. But if somebody ordered a pipe with a razor finish, I would do that with pleasure. All right, let's have a good crack at shaping this pipe. Good evening, Glenn. How you doing? Well, yeah, James, you were right, by the way, when you said before about why bring in the whole garage point. That's why I knew he was just being negative for the sake of being negative. There's no logic to make a difference the location of where it's made, if it's a workshop or a garage or whatever. So you know you're dealing with somebody who's just wants to be negative, whatever the case. The West Wing, Grey Manor. I'm not into all of that stuff. It is what it is. All right, let's get to making a pipe. There we go. Not far off when we're going to have to start getting fan heaters in here. It's going to get cold again. That's where we're up to, sorry. Do have a bit of a pit there, but it's only surface, it doesn't go through, I've checked it. So I might have to fill that a little bit. Either that or I'll have to rusticate, we shall see. But the grain I think is going to look quite nice. So I'm not sure. I think I'm probably going to end up doing a carved blast on this. It's not so much the pit that's the problem. It's just the grain is just not inspirational at all. It's actually, there is grain there, but it's a very close. You won't actually see it so much. And then you've got the cross grain there, and you've got some bird's eye on this side. But it's not a very consistent grain. So I'm not too worried about carving that. This bamboo, nice. Can I ask you, Phil, is it normal to have bamboo with these sort of, I know it's normal to have these kind of indentations and that, but these lines here, is that normal? I know that there is normal. But there, I'm kind of thinking of doing a carved blast on this one as well. Although it has got some nice grain, but I haven't really... No, I'm not talking about the buds. I'm talking about this creases in the bamboo. Not the usual stuff, not the usual creases that you see sometimes. Yeah, let me turn this. So that I get, but here, this line here, it's not that I know. But here, it looks like almost it's got a crease in it. There as well. Can you see that? There. It's so you can see there's like lots of creases in it. Is it shiny or flat? It's kind of shiny, I guess. Oh yeah, so this is where I'm up to with this pipe. It's a nice sort of Danish style apple eggy type thing. So overall, I'm happy with that shape. Got a nice Danish look to it. Swept heels. What does that mean? see what you mean, yeah. Well, essentially this bit is steeper than this bit. Okay, I get you. Right, well, I think I'll carry on carving this pipe. Perhaps I'll call it a day for now. And I'll maybe grab something to eat. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that. Well, I'm actually thinking about doing away with the London Calling sessions on Saturday nights. I'm thinking about it. I haven't yet made a decision, but it may well be that I'll just do my lives whenever I do my lives. I do enough of them anyway. But I have been finding of late that I haven't really got that much to talk about, and I don't really want to waste people's time. But I'm having a think about it. Let's put it that way. I haven't really made a decision. But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody, and I will catch you on the next one. I'm not worried about taking time for myself. I'm happy to do them. I just don't like not having anything to say. That's all. I don't like bluffing my way through a discussion with nothing to say. So that's often just simpler for me to do, to make a pipe or that kind of thing. But I think pretty much what I've got to say a lot of the time I've said already enough times. If I've got a yabo to do or show something interesting, like I showed the pipes earlier on the Stanwells, then fine. But we shall see. Anyway, I haven't made a decision yet. You may well see me continuing with it. We shall see. Anyway, for now, I'm going to wish you well. Thanks very much. Catch you on the next one.